Namaskar. Hello and welcome to this special telecast, hangout, whatever you want to call it. And I have a surprise for you. We are today going to be listening to Karthik Gopinath himself and his lawyers, Dr. M R Venkatesh. I'm not going to stand in the middle and stop this from happening. So I'm going to set aside. Let's welcome the guest of the evening, Karthik Gopinath and Dr. M R Venkatesh. Both of you, namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskaram.
Karthik, the first question to you.
Namaskaram, sir.
Karthik, the first question to you. How are you feeling, my friend?
I'm feeling good. I was overwhelmed by the support that I've received. I didn't expect this. I was really overwhelmed and humbled by the support that people have given. And of course, there is a bit of fatigue. I'm sure you would be able to see it. A bit of fatigue,
Absolutely.
but otherwise, I'm really overwhelmed, and I'm just picking up my phone, and the first thing that I'm doing is talking to you because I have to thank 𝙒𝙖𝙧𝙤𝙬 and PGurus for the kind of reporting that they've done. Incessant, constant, minutest of details have been brought out so that people could understand what is being done here, because the RSB media, as we call them, only reports it the way it has to. It wants the government wants it to report. And amidst all that, so I'm actually thankful. So I'm just picking up my phone, and this is the first interview I'm giving, and thankful to a lot of people. But firstly, to 𝙒𝙖𝙧𝙬 for giving it the amount of limelight that it has deserved to get. Thank you.
Not at all, Karthik. I mean, we have been in this for a while now, and we understand how the back end stuff works. Karthik, I just want to invite our other guest, Dr. M R Venkatesh. Dr. M R Venkatesh, you are a Supreme Court lawyer, and you did not hesitate to jump into the deep end of the pool and go all the way down, starting from the police station, Avadi. I think that's where Karthik was kept. So kind of walk us through a little bit about what are the things that you did, just so people understand, what happens in the back end.
See, usually I'm a late riser, and I don't go to bed anywhere earlier than say 1 o'clock. But on Monday last, I woke up a bit early by my standards. I was up and watching some of the tweets in the morning, as I usually do. I saw Mr. Ramesh of Temple Worshippers Society tweeting that Karthik has been arrested. I thought that was hallucination, but then I checked up with one or two other tweets, and they did say. And then I had to jump in. So I called my colleagues and I said, let me go to the police station. Meanwhile, I did try my luck with some of the police officers whom I know. And the moment they heard Karthik's name, they said, sir, I don't know you, you don't know me. We are all good friends. We will meet after the case is over. I said, fair enough. Then I understood that it was an uphill task, because it is not something that you get a person of, a lawyer talking, and a normal lawyer talking itself, they usually say, sir, you come here, we'll see what best can be done. This is, he has to pay 20,000, we will let him go. Sir, this is not a big case. Why are you interfering? Something will be there. But this was radio silence. So I understood that there was something terrifically wrong. And when we reached Avadi police station, I could see there were a lot of people already waiting and asking what it is. Then, as usual, a lot of confusion. The magistrate whom he was supposed to be produced was on leave. So another magistrate. So we had, instead of going to Pundamalli court, we had to go to Ambattur court. So it's a dingy, say, 15 by 20 room, wherein, say, in 300, 400 square feet, somewhere around 30, 40 people, more than 30, 40 people are standing and trying to push and jostle in that terrible heat and argue on very, very fine points on remand. And unfortunately, the magistrate, after hearing both of us, me and senior advocate Raghavacharyji, for almost 2 hours, and Karthik was also present at that time, he would not agree, obviously, and it looked palpable that the pressure by the police and the administration was palpable. And unfortunately, he was remanded. Then we said, okay, we'll move the bail. Now, when we moved the bail, we thought that we should get it done next day, because we had so much confidence in what we were going to present. But police threw a googly, which probably we anticipated but did not expect the events to take such a turn. That the police came with a googly and said that we want a custodial interrogation. So the judge said, look, if a custodial interrogation is pending, despite certain judgments, he said, no, let them take a view of custodial interrogation, then we'll decide. So he dismissed our bail petition. This was last Wednesday. Thursday, the police moved for police custody. This is where I thought the battle became very decisive. I think that was the turning point in this entire game. Probably both me and 𝙒𝙗𝙣𝙬𝙤 decided what we should do. And that morning, and I said, nothing doing, sir. I'm going to oppose the police custody. And the joke was that they wanted to take him to 𝙤𝙬𝙤𝙬. I don't know for what reason. And we had a very hearty laugh and said, why the hell should he be taken to 𝙤𝙬𝙤𝙬 when all these evidences are there? Then at that time, I think it was a very decisive and defining moment in this case. The judge saw through the entire game of the police, and he saw that it was only mere harassment of Karthik. And that's where he said, no police custody. But if there is no police custody, we wanted immediately file a bail. We filed it on Friday. And, suddenly the police vanished into thin air. There was no police. The police would not come and respond. So I waited till, say, 8 o'clock or probably 7:30 in the court. And the judge was seeing me. And I was sitting in all my, with all my composure intact. And very rarely you find me sit in a place for a half an hour. I was there almost 6-7 hours that day in the same chair, and made a point to the judge that, look, I am ready to argue on the bail, and these guys are fleeing. Then he said, I can't do anything because they have not replied. I said, tomorrow is Saturday and the court is not functioning. He said, I can't help it. Then Monday morning, again I went. And again I stood before the judge and said, look, you have to listen to my bail petition. He said, they have not replied. What do I do? Now I said, if they don't reply for eternity, what do I do? Now, then it was decided that he would hear today at 11:30. Meanwhile, yesterday, 𝙒𝙗𝙣𝙬𝙤 had filed a 482 quash. This is a section 482 of the CRPC, where he had filed for a quash of the entire case. That came before the Madras High Court, and that is, the arguments are going on. But as the arguments were going on, the judge said, let me post it for Monday. And he asked, why don't you move the bail? Then I said, look, I have moved the bail. And the judge is supposed to hear. They are not replying. So not me. In fact, it was 𝙒𝙗𝙣𝙬𝙤 who very nicely put it across to the judge. And the judge ordered the magistrate to hear this bail petition today, come what may, at 11:30. So we went again to the court this morning. Again we were there. I am reminded of Bhaja Govindam, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Mananam. So you go there again with all humility at your command and say, again the police comes and says, we have not got this paper, we have not got the reply, we are not ready, we will take some more time. So judge said, look, I don't want to mess up with these guys. These guys know the law. They will go to the court and file a contempt against me. So you better argue your matter straight. Come to the point and argue. So the argument went not long, because the judge had already heard us once during the bail, once during the police custody. So the prosecution perhaps argued more than I did. So, but I was very precise. I just said, they asked me, what if Karthik flees this country? The judge asked me. I said, yeah, that if that risk is there, my lords, I can submit the passport. So I had told Karthik's father to come to the court with the passport should the need arise. And I openly said that if this is the issue, here is the issue. And then judge, I don't think so, has passed an order asking for the passport to be surrendered. I have not yet seen the full bail order. Of course, he read it in the court, but that is not the full bail order. Let us see what it actually brings about. So this is where it is. So people ask, sir, why don't you file a quash? The day he was arrested, you should have filed a quash. But I have to tell you with all humility that the courts opened only this Monday. He was arrested last Monday. And the vacation court would not take up the 482 matter. But we filed, we got it listed, and it came before the judge as early as the second working day. So, in our people, some of them well-meaning, well-intended, suddenly turned and asked, sir, sir, bail vaangi kudukala. I'm sorry, I'm breaking into Tamil, but why have I not got my good friend Karthik bail? Bail is not a kilo of potato that you can go and get it in the market just for the taking. It takes some time. It's a process, and the process, unfortunately, you may be lily white. That's secondary. But if you are arrested by the police, it's a process that you have to undergo, and you have to be very patient. And unless you are absolutely patient and you don't have the skin for the game, it's not going to happen. So long and short of it, Mr. Iyer, I think I've taken a couple of more minutes. So I wanted to tell people, because many well-intended friends of Karthik have been asking me, pestering me, some of them even to the point of being disheartened, and they think that there was a lack of seriousness of efforts. It is not that I want to clarify to them, but they have to understand these things happen. Enormous times do happen in the court proceedings.
And before I ask Karthik the next question, Karthik, I just wanted to let you know, on the 30th, 6:30 a.m., I get a call from Uma Anandanji that you have been arrested. And I think I went live at 9:15 a.m., having talked to your dad, and then I was told that your whereabouts are not known. You're taken from home at 5:30. We don't know where you were. So my title was very provocative. Was Karthik kidnapped or arrested? And then this thing went live, and I said what I knew at that point of time. And then I got Dr. Swami into the loop. At 8 p.m. that night, we were on national television. Dr. Swami took about 10-15 minutes, and he had already read the entire case. We did a good job. I have to say that honestly, I did have the data from Raghvacharya. I did not talk to MRV that day. He was already on his way to Ambattur or Punamalya. I don't know where he was headed. I just got the data. I said, okay, this is what it is. So Dr. Swami came up to speed. He tweeted out immediately while you were still in Avadi. We had tweeted it out. He said, this case has no legs at all. And see, there is more consequences. Let us wait for the time on that one. So all I wanted to say was, on 30th evening, national news, Karthik Gopinath was there. And that really, I think, made the local media also sit up and take notice. He said, wait a minute, we are not covering and the national media is covering. So I think some pressure was put. I don't know how they responded. Look, I think the point was that now, thanks to you, 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙬, Bharatham, people are now looking at social media, especially YouTube, as a reliable source of information. I mean, that is something that you have done an immeasurable service to the society, Karthik. I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, because people knew, if I have to get to the truth, this is who I should look at. And we got a lot of positive feedback from that. But Karthik, you have a few things. You have an exam coming up. You have to prepare for that. And perhaps you can share us a little bit when you are going to go back live on 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙬, Bharatham, and whether you're going to you have lost 10 days of prep time. I hope that you'll have to work hard to make up for that. This is finals, third year, I heard. So kind of talk us a little bit about it, and then we will call this a program.
Okay, so first of all, thank you, MRVG. I mean, for clearly explaining, taking the onus out of my shoulders, the legal things and all. He explained it so clearly. In my case, as you pointed out, I'm a student of law doing my final year. I also had my final year exams, and on that very particular day when the remand was being heard. So for viewers who are unaware, the police can, take you from your residence. They have to produce you before a magistrate and say that, listen, we have a case pending on this fellow, so please remand him for judicial custody. So the demand for that judicial custody, the remand me into judicial custody, was placed before the magistrate. And in fact, it was on one side, it was fun for me to watch such legal luminaries like M R Venkatesh ji and my dear uncle Raghvachari sir. These people argue my case in front of. So it was divided between the two. The facts were argued by Raghvachari uncle, and of course MRV took up the constitutional standpoint, and it was a treat for me to watch. But on the other side, I was taken from the entire Avdi commissionerate was blocked for this purpose. You won't believe it. And for what? For this purpose, just to take me into custody. The entire Avdi commissionerate, nobody was allowed to come in, nobody was allowed to go out. And the news was selectively leaked out to a few. I'm just trying to read, and a lot of preparation that went into this, and thankfully, with the help of Subramanian Swamiji, I should for me he's my acharya. You know, I called him Drona once, and he said, "Don't call me Drona. You know what happened to Drona." So I told him like, "You are a Navayuga Drona." So he's my acharya. So, and the fact that the support came from his side, obviously, made the media wake up and report on this. So it's altogether a different case how they reported it, because their fashion of reporting, they tweak facts, they report according to their masters. So that is being done, RSB media, of course. But at least they started speaking about it, and thankfully, when I was in the prison, I was able to read what happened in my case. Others had to wait till 3 p.m. Their advocates used to come to the prison and they used to update them about their case details. But in my case, there were like 3-4 dailies which reported about my case. So I used to read all of them, and then I understood whatever they reported, the tone and tenor of that had to be negated so that you will get to know the truth of it. So it was quite a kind of a easy game for me. But again, yeah, so having said that, so this was kind of uh, trying to send a message to a person that, listen, you can't talk against us, you can't do things for the temple, you can't do things without our permission, and we can take you into custody, as MRVG rightly pointed out. See, you can be lily white, just quoting him verbatim, you can be lily white, but you have to go through the process. You have to have a thick skin. And prison life, I don't know how many of you have been to prison. I hope and pray none of you get the opportunity to go to prison. It's a tough life, especially when you know that you've done nothing wrong. Being inside the prison with hardened criminals can be a bit tough. All right. And what happens once you get into the prison is, if you are, if you're not strong enough, it can break you. So thankfully, with the help of MRVG and of course my dear Raghvachari sir, I've gotten the bail. But that is not the most important thing. The most important thing is we have to quash it. As MRVG pointed out, there's something called as CRPC 482, where you approach the High Court and the Honorable High Court, and tell them, "Hey, listen, there is an FIR which is put against me." An FIR is like a hanging sword. The police can use it any time to arrest you or harass you or do whatever they want. So there is an FIR against me, and the FIR is baseless, and it is having it is baseless and it's fictitious. So it needs to be quashed. So that is the request we have placed before the Honorable High Court. And the Honorable High Court has, posted the next hearing on Monday, if I'm sure, because I'm just picking up the phone and I've not even gone into Twitter. So I just had to come to thank Sri Iyer and all PGurus viewers, and of course my dear MRVG. So that's why I came here. So this is the long and short of it, and forgive me if I've missed something, because I'm still not very coherent.
Two simple, easy questions, Karthik. When are you coming back online? And second is, how is your preparation for the exams going on? Are you going to wait till that happens? Just give us some ideas. We're not going to hold you to it.
Soon. I'll be back soon. Matter of a couple of days. The thing is, the biggest problem was sleep, insomnia. I couldn't sleep for the first 4 days, and I didn't have food for the first 4 days. That was tough for me. I wouldn't blame the jail authorities or something, because it's a very difficult thing. It's very difficult to adapt. So I just get a couple of days sleep, and then I think we'll be back, and we'll rock.
Awesome.
And I thank
wonderful.
I thank all the viewers of PGurus, because the moment I got out, a lot of people had been trying to call from different parts of the world. So I knew that it was your game, Shri. Thank you. And MRVG, love you to the moon and back. Thank you. And thank you for 2 things. one is your effort for getting the bail, of course, which goes without saying. Second thing is for giving me a free ringside view at how a counsel should proceed with the case. Thank you for both those things.
Wonderful,
Actually,
Karthik. Yeah, go ahead,
actually,
MRV. Yeah.
Actually, in your case, I wouldn't know from Adams what it was. No, no. I am reminded when I did my CA, my senior had failed 3 or 4 attempts. CA failing 3 or 4 attempts is a very normal thing. So at 10 a.m. when they started distributing the question, the next time, this guy said to the invigilator, "I don't want to have the question paper." He said, no, please take the question paper. He said, no, have the question paper and write the answer. He said, no. Last time I did it, I failed. Now I'm going to write my answer on my own without a question paper. So sometimes it is better not to know the facts and get bogged down. Why you look into all the facts? Go and bombard yourself like a typical Supreme Court lawyer without facts.
No, the point is you anyways didn't argue on the facts. You were arguing on the...
See, I didn't have the time. First day, I didn't have the luxury of going through the papers, which is why 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙦 coming in was very helpful. And I wouldn't know that Rule 5A of that donation rule was all... Because there was so much of correspondence, almost 80, 90 pages of correspondence, and it was impossible for me to read on the run. But so that's why tactically I did not go into the facts, and I wanted to argue on the procedural issues, which I knew for a fact the police would somewhere down the line make a mistake. So you throw on putting a bait, and we almost succeeded. In fact, if you look at it, a remand order, argument for 2 hours and another half an hour for
3 hours.
Almost 3 hours.
I'll tell you what happened. I was remanded along with like 52 prisoners in one room. So it so happened that there were like 4 or 5 people who had come to the same fast track court, and they were like, we have never ever seen, as it's one history sheeter, he told me that they've never ever seen arguments go on for 2.5 to 3 hours just for the remand sake. It just happened. It just so happens that you either remand them or you don't remand them. Mostly they remand. Okay, we've never seen 3 hours.
Remand is a given. Remand is a given whenever police arrests. Only thing is whether police custody or judicial custody. Is take him to the judicial custody, come after 3-4 days, let us look into it. That's where it stops. But this time we almost pulled from the brink, that probably looking back, I should have raised my voice because probably 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙦 was very, very sober. I should have shown my temper or somewhere. But, beyond a point in a magistrate court also we are all handicapped, because the magistrate, it's absolute discretion on anything and everything he or she does. So anyhow, let's hope that things have panned out for you.
And viewers, it was wonderful, Karthik, that you could make time. I can see the tiredness on your face. Go back and get good sleep, my friend. Good sleep, good food, and be with family. And we have only crossed half the bridge. We have to still get the FIR quashed. And this makes... At 33, I wish I had the kind of wisdom and maturity that you are showing, Karthik. I mean, this is something that is coming straight from my heart, because not many people understand what the bigger cause that you're fighting for. That is the important thing, guys. The bigger cause. What is it that we are all fighting for? Thank you once again, Dr. MRV and Karthik, and we hope to have you soon back again on various topics. We both have a lot of fun going online. And viewers, thank you once again for all your support. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. And if you think you like this hangout, please do show your appreciation by clicking on the super friend button. Thank you once again. Namaskaram.
Namaskar.
Jai Hind.